We often say that we want equality for everyone, but the truth is that equality cannot even begin unless we first agree on something fundamental. What does the word woman really mean? Without clarity in this single word, how can there be fairness in laws, in rights, in opportunities, or in everyday respect between people? For centuries, the definition of woman has not been written by women themselves, but by men who used it to define roles, to impose silence, and to enforce obedience as if those were natural laws. That so-called definition was never a true description of womanhood, but rather a cage dressed up as an identity, built to keep power in the hands of others. A woman is not only her biology, because biology does not explain her dreams, her struggles, or her victories across history. A woman is not only her role in a family, because roles change with time, but identity remains far deeper and more personal. A woman is not simply a shadow of someone else's story, but a full human being with her own voice, her own choices, and her own legacy to create. And yet, even today, in the 21st century, society still reduces women to fragile stereotypes. The nurturer, the mother, the beauty, the one who must always compromise. These labels may seem harmless to some, but they shrink her humanity into a box that denies complexity, power, and truth. The obsession with controlling the word woman has always been about power, because to define is to control, and to control is to limit freedom. But imagine if definition could be used differently. Not as a tool to shrink, but as a key to liberate, a way of honoring the depth and the reality of women's lives. To define woman, in the context of true equality, means to embrace the contradictions, the strength, the struggle, the vulnerability, and the courage that coexists within every human being who carries that name. Science may tell us about chromosomes and biology, psychology may tell us about identity and self, and history may remind us of centuries of oppression, but none of these voices are enough unless we listen to women themselves. Listen to their voices, listen to their experiences, listen to the truth that rises from their lives, not from the stereotypes written about them. Equality does not begin with empty slogans or political statements. It begins with respect, and respect begins with recognition of reality. To define woman is not to close doors or draw lines in fear. It is to open a space of dignity, a declaration that says, "This is who we are, and this is why we matter." When you blur the word, you blur the fight. When you erase the word, you erase the struggle that women have carried for generations. Defining woman means defending her rights, her body, her place in society, her freedom to exist without apology or permission. True equality is not possible without truth, and truth always demands courage. Courage to face history. Courage to reject stereotypes, and courage to see the full human being beyond labels. A woman is not only what others see in her, she is who she knows herself to be, a possibility in motion, a resilience in flesh, and a mirror reflecting the humanity of us all. If you want to understand equality, you cannot skip this step. You must first confront how women have been defined and why it matters so deeply. Generations of women have been told what they are and what they are not, but every generation has also fought back to expand the meaning of that word. From the right to learn, to work, to vote, to lead. Every victory began with a redefinition of woman, against a wall of resistance. And that fight continues, because every time progress is made, there are forces that try to push women back into silence. But silence is no longer an option, because silence has never been safety. It has only ever been compliance with injustice. Today, we are faced with a new challenge. Can we define woman in a way that honors both individuality and equality, both history and hope? To say, woman is not to speak of fragility, it is to speak of survival, of endurance, of the ability to carry the weight of generations while still moving forward. It is to speak of mothers and daughters, of workers and leaders, of rebels and creators, of every role women have taken and every role still denied. To define woman is to acknowledge that she has never been just one thing, and that her humanity is as vast as anyone else's. When we deny definition, we deny recognition. When we deny recognition, we deny equality. And equality cannot survive on blurred lines and confused language. It requires truth, honesty, and the courage to say what is real. Women are not the other, they are not an exception, and they are not optional in the story of humanity. They are central, they are equal, they are indispensable, and any definition that does not start here is not a definition at all. So, when we ask what is a woman, we are not asking a small question, we are asking the very foundation of equality itself. Because if the word is fragile, the rights built on it will also be fragile. But if the word is strong, the rights can never be erased. A woman is not defined by the limits others place on her. She is defined by the fullness of her humanity, her agency, and her undeniable worth. Equality is not a gift handed down, but a truth recognized, and that recognition begins with clarity. If you care about justice, then you must care about words, because words shape laws, laws shape lives, and lives shape the world. And the word woman is not just any word, it is the cornerstone of half of humanity's dignity. To define it with respect is to build equality on rock. To leave it blurred is to build equality on sand. So ask yourself, do you want a future where equality is real, or a future where equality is an illusion? The choice begins with whether we are brave enough to define, to affirm, and to protect what woman truly means. Look into history, and you will see that every right women hold today was won not by erasing the word, but by insisting on its truth. They fought to be recognized as workers, as voters, as leaders, as citizens, and every step forward was a declaration of definition. Those battles were not easy, and they are not finished, because even today the meaning of woman is under attack from stereotypes, from politics, from fear. But if we abandon the word, we abandon the fight. If we abandon the fight, we abandon equality itself. Defining woman for true equality means rejecting cages, rejecting caricatures, and embracing the full humanity of every individual who claims the name with dignity. It means creating a world where girls grow up knowing they are not limited by outdated labels, but free to define their own path. It means listening to women, not talking over them, honoring their truth, not distorting it, defending their rights, not negotiating them away. And it means understanding that equality cannot be true if it does not include women, fully and without compromise. To define woman for true equality is not to draw boundaries around her life. It is to acknowledge that her life has always mattered, even when the world refused to see it. It is to say that her voice belongs, her choices belong, her body belongs to her and to no one else. It is to stand against those who would erase her and to stand with those who demand recognition. Equality begins here, at the intersection of truth and courage, at the point where we dare to say, this is who a woman is. She is strength, she is resilience. She is humanity itself, reflected in another form. She is not a footnote, not a secondary character, not an afterthought in the story of the world. She is the story itself. And if equality is to be more than a dream, then it must be built on the recognition of this truth. So when you hear the word woman, do not dismiss it, do not blur it, do not fear it, honor it, protect it, and defend it. Because the word woman is not just about gender, it is about justice, it is about dignity, it is about equality for us all. And if we want to build a future where equality is real, then we must start here, with courage, with honesty, and with definition. This is not just a debate, it is not just philosophy, it is life, it is struggle, it is survival, and it is hope. The word woman carries generations of pain, but also generations of progress, and it deserves to be spoken with truth. So ask yourself, will you be the one who stays silent, or will you be the one who defines with respect? Will you let the word be erased, or will you let it stand strong as the foundation of equality? The choice is yours, and the choice is now, because equality waits for no one. Define woman with respect, define woman with dignity, define woman with courage, and never forget, equality begins here. Subscribe now, Healing with Sergi Guru, because this fight for truth, dignity, and justice is only just beginning, and your voice is needed in it.